Hey guys. So my quote is, "A man is known by the company his mind keeps," by Aldrich. And what I interpreted that as is a man is known by the emotions and experiences and how he portrays his experiences. So what he thinks of himself, or what she thinks of herself, like what people think of themselves as good or bad. And today I want to talk to you guys about how your emotions can influence the way you act and the way you see yourself. So today, your emotions and how you interpret events can influence your actions a few ways, because say you wake up and you wake up in a bad mood, you're probably gonna have, you're gonna start off having a bad day, and you talk to your friend in the morning, and you're like, "Hey, what's up?" And your friend's like, "Hey, how you doing?" And you're just like, "I'm kind of crappy, my day's not going very good," because it's the way you feel about yourself, and it might have you not do very well on the test or mess up on speech. But those are a few things that how your emotions can influence your actions. And as far as experiences, it can also hamper or put dampen your experiences. Say you're ice skating, when you're out with your friends and you want to have a good time, but a certain friend or you are having a bad day, you're dealing with personal issues, your friends are going to see you as that one person that is bringing the group down, or the energy is going to be reduced to that person. You can't really have as much fun if one person is being stressed out or having a bad time. So those are a few ways that you can be influenced, or a man could be known by the company his mind keeps, which is emotions and how you interpret events and how those emotions can affect your actions. Thank you.
All right, Mitch, you start off with the quote instead of an attention device, and that's a little bit awkward. The interpretation that you have, you know what, we're being pretty reasonable on these things. It's connected to the idea, and I think it's not an unreasonable interpretation. The problem is that it's kind of vague and abstract, and then all your supporting material is just about as equally vague and abstract. So I'm not sure why you would choose something that's going to be just about as hard to pin down as the original quote is, but go in a different direction, unless you had something particular that you wanted to talk about. And it doesn't really sound like there's anything in particular in your examples. The closest you come is you might bring people down if you were in the bad mood when you went out with your friends ice skating. That's about as close as you get to a real example, and that's obviously a hypothetical example, and it's just, there's no detail to it. It's not a very strong illustration of the points that you're talking about. So it feels like I think you made an odd choice in your interpretation of the quote, and that leaves you struggling to find things to talk about in the body of the speech. You do have kind of a division, but it's not a very distinct division in the substructure of the presentation. On the presentation itself, you've got kind of a low-key personality, but it feels like it's exceptionally low-key today. Like there's no energy level that's going on. You need to project a little bit more. I'm not saying that you have to dance for us and be, all crazy, but you just sound like you're struggling to stay awake. You need to have some involvement and some engagement. And I know that you're trying to get through the speech, but it comes across very lackadaisical. I think you need to sell it a little bit more. There's a narrow range in your voice that you're using, and like I said, I think some additional tones and some pacing might help those sorts of things. You do have some okay gestures. There's some good indicators as you're moving along to suggest the next idea. You've got those kinds of indicators that you're using. The only things that I see that are necessarily anxiousness are your body movement. You have a tendency to kind of swivel at the hips, and when you watch the video, you'll know what I'm talking about. I'm describing it. It makes it sound like you're doing a hula. You're not really doing a hula, but it does look a little bit like you're just uncomfortable. You're antsy while you're talking, and that's the only thing that I think looks like it's anxiety-inducing. Your audience contact was okay. Like I said, it just feels like you were so passive in the presentation. And I know you got a quiet way, a demeanor anyway, but there's got to be a little bit more energy to what you're talking about. All right, thank you.